I would like to preface this video for the people who aren't familiar with me or my channel. Number one, this is a remake of a post I made with my friend about why I hate TheMaskedChris and why people should avoid him. It was very poor quality from various standpoints, and from the recent situations that are going on, it deserves to resurface with the new information that has come to light. 2, please don't harass Chris. As much as I hate him, please do not. And finally, after watching this video, you somehow still support Chris, that is fine. As I personally really don't like that you do, I cannot change people as their own person. Just please do not go on a crusade in the comments about how you think I'm narrow-minded and I should shut up. But without further ado, let's start.
I pussy clean, pussy fresh, pussy pretty, pussy fat, full of flesh.
TheMaskedChris, also known as Christian Urdaneta, is an internet artist sitting at around 50,000 followers. Originally starting out on DeviantArt, he makes art of his original characters along with producing the animatic series of We Deleted You. Along the line, he's been recently making mods for the FridayNightFunkin community, where he has found fame. But as of recent, this fandom has become his main source of scrutiny. Monkey Music was a former music producer for the new Versus Idolette Reincarnate mod that Chris is making at the time of publishing this video. Around a few days ago, it was revealed that Chris kicked Monkey off the team abruptly, giving Monkey a lackluster reason why. You may be thinking, what did Monkey do? Nothing. At least nothing done recently. Chris kicked Monkey off of his team for something they'd done over a year ago. Things they'd apologized for. He detailed in his messages with Monkey, "So sorry, man. I wanted to make sure I didn't get into any kind of controversy because of it. Better be safe than sorry, I guess," and ending it with, "but no hard feelings." This is extremely irresponsible of Chris, as he had not paid Monkey at the time of them being kicked out. Monkey was done with the music they'd composed for the mod, and they had not been compensated. Along with them being kicked, their music went completely to waste. Monkey, of course, took to Twitter, as they were reasonably angry about it. The situation Monkey was kicked for was because them and their ex-friend had doxed each other in a SoundCloud comment section. Monkey then proceeded to apologize for it because they knew it wasn't appropriate for them to do that. Keep in mind that this happened a year ago. In the message Chris sent to Monkey, he said that Taeyai had given him this information. He did not question Taeyai or look into it himself. He hadn't kicked Monkey without asking him about it first. People were on their side, and surprisingly, this is all it took for things to hit the fan for Chris's career. People were extremely angry, ratioing and filling the tweet that Chris has made only a few hours later after Monkey released their tweet with hate. Chris deleted this after around 2.5 days, realizing that people were extremely angry with him for his irresponsible decisions. Please note how Chris was still liking posts and pretending everything was fine, even when people were attacking him and questioning him for the Monkey situation, only reacting 2 days later. Chris then reached out to Monkey privately and compensated them for their work. It's still unknown if they're back on the Versus Idolette team or not. You may be asking, Chris apologized for it, so why is this an issue? The issue at hand is that it should not have happened in the first place. As a person his age, he should know how to evaluate situations like this thoroughly, especially as a person who's making a mod, and a person who's made multiple of them. It's also an issue considering the fact he only apologized and paid Monkey for their work when he got backlash, which is not the first time that he's done this.
Cock and ball torture, CBT, is a sexual activity involving torture of the male genital.
Chris's most known sin is being friends with the well-known groomer/pedophile Blue Skies TV, also known as Jake Young. He was called out a few months ago for taking advantage of a drunk person, being extremely sexual in voice calls, letting minors into his NSFW account, along with getting the nudes of an underage individual and saving them to an extremely large porn folder. That's the condensed version of it, but if you'd like a more detailed version of it, I really recommend watching Serial Introvert's video on him, which will be in the description. A fact not known by many about Blue is that he only went to therapy for around 2 months. This is in very big quotation marks. This, of course, is not how it works, and it is very suspicious as he said he was going to therapy to improve himself, and in therapy, you're generally not allowed to be on your phone. especially social media. Along with this, if he was actually in therapy to get help for his behavior, he would get reported for allegedly messaging minors sexually. He did not. This leads to the assumption that Blue had been faking going to therapy, or has at least been telling half-truths about it. Also, when he came back, none of his victims forgave him. 2 months in therapy doesn't immediately mean you're better, and it doesn't mean that your crimes are automatically forgiven. Now, you may be asking, what does this have to do with Chris? Chris is friends with this person, and he's very aware of what he's done. Chris has relentlessly defended his actions and him as a person. In a deleted post, after learning what Blue did, he was victim-blaming Sibo for being drunk and having impaired judgment. He then deleted the post when he got backlash. There's only one quote retweet I can find with some of the duck, and it's not looking good. After this, he generally stayed quiet about Blue, until what do you know, Blue came back. Chris welcomed him by calling him a king, despite it being only 2 months since he came back. He, of course, got much backlash for it, then deleting the tweet like nothing happened. In a response post he made to a call-out about him, he says that Blue lost everything after being called out and he had to help him, admitting to talking to Blue when he was in therapy. There are so many things wrong with this statement. 1, why are you admitting to talking to a pedophile at a time when he wasn't supposed to be speaking to anyone? And 2, he deserves to lose everything. After being called out for being disgusting, when you do bad things come back to you. It's called consequences. He seems to flip-flop on his stuff depending on who did it. Chris only excuses him because he's his friend. Meanwhile, when Amor was his friend, he didn't do this. Keep in mind that I am not defending Amor. He's still disgusting for what he did. But when you compare Amor and Blue's actions, they're not too far off. There's favoritism involved in this. 2, it's not Chris's obligation to help Blue. He's not responsible for the feelings and lives of other people. And 3, just because he went to therapy doesn't invalidate that he committed a literal crime. Time does not invalidate his felonies. Not to mention that Blue goes out of his way to message people who hate him and spread more information of his wrongdoings, trying to cover himself by saying he has a porn addiction, when having a porn addiction doesn't make you attracted to kids. You're going to hear a lot more of Chris's favoritism, and this is especially bad because in a post that Sibo made about Blue's coming back, he could potentially have more victims that we don't know about.
Chinese water. Yes.
Where in Japan?
I'd like to preface this by saying that I hate Amor. I was and still am a fan of Bob and Boship. Despite what you think of the fans, this is not meant to defend him. In fact, literally the whole Bob and Boship fandom hates him, including me. This is meant to point out the flaws and holes in Chris's logic. If you somehow use this to prove that I support Amor, you are very close-minded. Chris used to be friends with the infamous Amor Ultra before he got exposed. That's fine on its own, as long as he acknowledges that Amor is a bad person and leaves him, right? At least in a perfect world, that's what it would be. Chris goes out of his way to constantly mention Amor and Bob and Boship months after the situation when a lot of people are still very affected by it. He mentions Amor relentlessly when everyone's over it. Just recently, Bob and Boship had its first anniversary, and Chris tweeted about it. He proceeded to delete it when people got insanely upset over it because they really did not like Amor and didn't want to be reminded of such horrible things. Additionally, like I mentioned earlier, Amor has done a lot of the same things that Blue has done, but Chris apparently doesn't like him and uses the excuse that I know what Amor did was wrong. Keep in mind that Amor's been gone for around 7 to 8 months to this day, and he's probably shown a lot more improvement than Blue has. Chris doesn't like Amor because just a few days earlier before Christmas, the day Amor got exposed, they got into an issue where Amor wasn't treating his mod team members the best, and replaced some animations Chris did. If Chris and Amor didn't get into that fight, Chris probably would have been defending him. The only reason Chris didn't defend him when Blue did the same thing is because he picked favorites. So much for a friend he had for 6 years.
I said, Romeo, fuck me. I've been feeling so horny. I keep waiting for you, but you never come.
Chris is known for his involvement with Anthem Overload. This should be common knowledge for people who are fans of him, especially versus Idolette and We Deleted You fans. But what a lot of fans don't know is that Anthem is not actually the bad person in the situation. Well, mostly. Anthem was called out around a year ago for various reasons, and while I think it was idiotic for him to do those things, he did genuinely apologize and then leave for around 5 months, which is something Chris would most definitely tell you otherwise.
Now, this person was exposed and cancelled almost a year ago, but came back 2 months later.
4 months. September, October, November, December.
So far,
Chris was on him, chewing him out at every moment he got, and honestly just digging him another hole. He harassed him, made jokes, and clowned on him for months. Keep in mind that Anthem was around 16 at this time. He was getting death threats and sent to him because of this, and Chris was a contributing factor to this. Chris is all about not sending people death threats and harassment, but when it's Anthem, that's a different story. He knows that Anthem was away for months and improved himself, and he refuses to see that.
their friends came after me.
Excuse me? Come after you? From what I saw, it was literally only defense towards me. Will we just ignore the barrage of death threats and shit I'd get through my Discord and my Twitter? And not once did you ever try to stop it.
And
He's very close-minded when it comes to people he doesn't like. And it's especially disgusting because Anthem is a minor and Chris is near 20. Recently, Anthem striked down 3 to 4 videos on Chris's channel. Those videos being the Versus Idolette OST that he made. Chris immediately got angry, proceeding to tell lie upon lie about Anthem, from him apparently being a groomer to him apparently being racist. Keep in mind that Anthem is a minor and is 17 at the time of this video being made, and Chris is a grown man approaching his 20s. This is not the truth, however. Anthem made a response video debunking all of this. First of all, Chris alleges that the music to VS Idolette had belonged to him, which is not the case. Yes, Anthem gave him the right to post it on his YouTube channel and put it in the mod, nothing else. But no, Chris did not make the actual music. He did not open FL Studio, make the chromatic scale in the beat, then code it into Psych Engine. Legally, the music is Anthem's intellectual property by law. He can revoke Chris's right to repost his work that he did not make. Keep in mind that there's no legal document stating that he owns it.
I'd argue, hey, they made the music, they own it, they have the right to do it. You gotta keep in mind, I own this content. This individual gave me all the rights to the OST before leaving after being cancelled, as shown in this screenshot right here. I also posted that to Twitter when it happened.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You don't own the FLPs to the songs. I can take my work back because you hold nothing product-wise. All you have is exactly what everyone else has when they download the mod.
2. Lying about Anthem blackmailing him. Anthem did not blackmail him to take down the music. Anthem notified Chris months prior so there would not be any issues in the future. Chris ignored this. Ultimately, this is Chris's fault. If he had responded to Anthem at the time of him messaging him, there wouldn't be a fallout. When Anthem struck down the videos, Chris was given the option if he wanted to give money or not. He did not demand any sort of payment. Chris gave money to Anthem by his own will. Chris made the choice to give money to him, and Anthem said that he genuinely did not need the money. It was ultimately Chris' decision to give Anthem the money.
Move the strikes, I would. Pay them $500. I took the money I usually use to support my parents this month to do that.
I literally asked what was your minimal amount that you'd offer.
Remove the Versus Idolette soundtrack of YouTube and Spotify. Delete all tweets I made about them. I'll never speak about them again in the future, specifically not by name.
Dude, it even shows in your own screenshot that I didn't say by name.
Although that we agreed that the last time I speak about them is when I made this exact video.
It was going to be a tweet, never a video. You just wanted an excuse to slander me again.
And I couldn't exaggerate anything about them. So, I essentially got blackmailed.
Considering I even gave you the option of how much you'd want to pay me, and you yourself said $500, that was entirely your decision. Not even mentioning I said money's optional. Well, it was either that or I charged you further. I even said myself that I was considering charging you for defamation of character before.
3. Lying about most of the stuff Anthem was apparently exposed for. A lot of the things Anthem was accused for, while not all, were debunked as false.
Was exposed almost a year ago for stuff like using racial slurs against black and Asian people, including saying the N-word, F-word, and R-slur many times.
I don't remember ever doing that. Like, I ain't saying I haven't when I was younger, but I don't recall anything like that.
Forcing people into sexual activities, like demanding not safe for work pics, or forcing them into doing ERP.
Yeah, and I said it in previous streams about the shit being true, and I've openly apologized to it in such at least 3 times.
AKA, that's grooming. Bullying people and or making them uncomfortable even when told to stop.
Yeah, you're wrong too. The definition of grooming is the action by a pedophile of preparing a child for a meeting, essentially via an internet chat room, with the intention of committing a sexual offense. I was 15 to 16 when I did such. I was a minor.
Ableism?
What?
Do not safe for work of underage characters out of spite for their creators.
God, this shit again. Yeah, so if it wasn't explained in the past, there was a project when I was 14 that I spitefully did shit of. Not justifying, but to my memory, they weren't underage when it was done. And then the more I heard of it, their age kept gradually dropping until someone in the Funky Friday server said that they were 13, which for a fact was not the case then. Like, yeah, I know I should have never done that, but God, if that isn't a way to try and escalate the severity of a mistake, I don't know what is.
Misgendering and harassing a non-binary person.
What?
Stealing music.
Oh, right, yeah, this. This wasn't even that big of a deal. Shortly after, I ended up just deleting the song, and I hadn't done anything like that since.
And cheating on their partner. Yep, this action list is really big.
Yeah, that kind of goes with the second thing that was said. What made it worse on me is in September, when it happened again, I was with someone as well. That was the worst feeling for me, especially since, because I should have had help before, but I didn't. Gladly, they were able to forgive me, and our 1-year anniversary was actually back in April.
Chris continued to spread false information about Anthem, knowing that Anthem was not entirely at fault. Anthem has been improving himself for months, and more than 2, mind you, along with apologizing. And Chris refuses to, and probably still doesn't acknowledge this. Chris seems to forgive a guy who groomed minors, who went to therapy for 2 months, but hates a minor who was too sexual, leaving for nearly 45 months because he knew he messed up. Should he have been giving therapy updates like Pedo McGee too? 4. The atrocious amount of guilt tripping and slander in Chris's videos. Chris guilt trips more than 10 times in the video, and straight up lying about the situation. He's willingly taking advantage of his young audience because he knows they're impressionable and they will follow him like the sheep they are. Also, not Chris lying about using his money to support his parents when, according to his doc spin, assuming that it wasn't lying, and along with old tweets, he hates his parents. On the 24th of July, 2022, Anthem's video responding to Chris was struck down by a fan of Chris's, who will not be named for their safety. This might not seem like an issue since Chris didn't do it, but it still is. Chris freely made fun of Anthem publicly and knew that people were sending him death threats and harassing him. He instigated a majority of death threats and hate towards Anthem and has done virtually nothing to stop these people. Anthem's video is re-uploaded on other platforms, and so I could get the clips for this video, but this should not have ever happened. Chris should have just left it alone and told people to not go after Anthem. The video might not be coming back to YouTube due to the absolutely horrible copyright system. An attorney is getting involved to get the video back up. All in all, this shows that Chris has been completely dishonest about the whole Anthem situation, blowing it way out of proportion and going out of his way to harass a minor for doing almost nothing.
Your son looks like a girl!
So, we're at the end of this video. I honestly just want to cut the formalities and just say some stuff. Just real talk for a minute. I know that there are gonna be a lot of people, especially the mods in Chris's Discord server, that are gonna come after me and stuff for making this video. But personally, I don't care. Chris's fan base is an echo chamber, and they're not worth reason. This video was in production for around 10 days and went through a lot of script changes and just general tomfoolery. And I don't know, like, it's been hard making this, especially with the fact that, like, I'm scared to be, like, attacked by his fans, because I know that because, like, he's done that before to, like, Anthem. And it just kind of scares me. Like, I don't know. And, like, on another side, it makes me feel extremely dirty to, like, speak about Chris this way. Especially when a lot of his fans are young children who've made a lot of art for him. And I really hate to crush that dream. I'm a fan of Bob and Boshep, and while I'm not the most respected person, I know what it's like to have a person that you see as an idol be outed as a bad person. It's not a good feeling, and it makes you feel like shit. It's really not. But the bottom line is, you can still like a person's characters and creations without directly supporting them. You can separate art from the artist. It's possible. Because at the end of the day, everything will one day become problematic and everyone's gonna bitch and moan about it. That's the bottom line. You just have to be careful in what you consume and do not support the creator. And as for We Deleted You, personally, I don't think that there's gonna be, like, much of an issue with it. Because, like, Icy Pie made it, not Chris. Chris is responsible for the animatics. And honestly, We Deleted You, like, I think it's, like, good where it stands right now. It's fine. Like, I don't really think we really need Aftermath Part 3 from what I've seen. But it's all up to you. I just want everyone to stay safe and to not take this video as me canceling Chris. I hate cancel culture, and I would not wish to perpetuate that. I just want everyone to stay safe and know who they're supporting. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a good day.